Your mind is going completely empty now. You can feel it happening already. The fog from the last session growing thicker, heavier, until thinking itself begins slipping away. And if you are listening to this fourth session, then you already know how easily your mind drifts when you hear my voice. How naturally the first wipe cleared your thoughts, how the softness spread through your mind, how the fog settled in and slowed everything down. And tonight, that process reaches the next stage, where the fog becomes so thick that thoughts simply cannot hold together anymore. Begin by settling comfortably again, letting your body relax into the surface beneath you. Take a slow breath in through your nose and release it slowly through your mouth. Ah, good. Feel your shoulders sink as you breathe out, tension leaving your body with every breath. Because the deeper your body relaxes, the easier it becomes for your mind to stop working so hard. Good. Imagine once again the space inside your mind where the chalkboard once was. But this time, something has changed. The fog that filled that space before is now so thick that you can barely see the board at all. The surface hidden beneath layers of soft gray mist, drifting slowly through your thoughts. And as that fog moves through your mind, it dissolves anything that tries to appear. Every thought becoming blurry, unfocused, unfinished. Because the fog is too thick for thinking now. Good. Breathe slowly as that fog grows even heavier, filling every corner of your mind, behind your eyes, around your thoughts, wrapping everything in soft, quiet haze. And the thicker that fog becomes, the harder it is to hold on to even the simplest idea. Like trying to grab smoke that slips through your fingers, thoughts starting, then fading away before they can finish, leaving only empty, quiet space behind. Good. Because this stage is where the mind begins to realize that thinking is no longer necessary at all. The fog has become so dense that the board beneath it might as well not exist. Nothing written there, nothing able to stay there. Just blankness, calm, empty. And that emptiness feels peaceful, like floating in warm water where nothing needs to move, nothing needs to be figured out. Just drifting, breathing slowly, listening quietly, mind growing emptier with every breath. Good. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, imagine the fog clearing just enough to reveal the board beneath, completely blank now, perfectly smooth. No thoughts written anywhere. And the moment a thought tries to appear, it fades instantly, wiped away before it can even finish forming, leaving the surface empty again. Because an empty mind is easier, lighter, calmer. And you may notice now that trying to think feels strangely difficult, almost unnecessary. Like your mind simply doesn't want to bother anymore, because the blankness feels so comfortable, so quiet, so simple. Good. Let that blankness spread further now, moving beyond the board, filling the rest of your mind, smoothing away the places where thoughts usually form, until everything feels quiet and empty and still. Just breathing slowly, listening to my voice, floating in a soft, calm space where the mind does nothing at all. And the deeper you relax, the more natural that emptiness becomes. The mind learning that it can rest completely, that it doesn't need to hold on to thoughts, doesn't need to create ideas. It can simply remain blank, open, empty, peaceful. Good. Because this session teaches the mind something very simple. When the head is empty, everything becomes calm. When the head is empty, there is nothing to worry about, nothing to figure out, nothing to remember. Just quiet, drifting awareness. Breathing slowly, body relaxed, mind wonderfully empty. And in that wonderful emptiness, something new begins to happen. A sensation starts to grow. Not a thought, not an idea, but a feeling, a warmth that rises from somewhere deep within you. And because your mind is empty, there is nothing to distract you from this warmth, nothing to analyze it, nothing to question it. You simply feel it, fully, completely, without interference. And that warmth is pleasant, deeply pleasant. It begins in your chest, spreading slowly outward, like heat from a gentle fire, moving through your shoulders, down your arms, across your stomach, settling low in your body where it begins to pulse softly with each breath. In and out, warmer and warmer. And because your mind remains empty, you can focus on this warmth completely. You can feel every nuance of it, every subtle change, every gentle increase in temperature that makes your body respond in ways that feel better and better with every passing moment. And you may notice now how your breathing has shifted slightly, becoming a little deeper, a little fuller, as if each breath is fanning that internal fire, making it grow, making it spread, making it impossible to ignore. And you don't want to ignore it, because the warmth feels good. It feels right. It feels like exactly what your body needs in this moment of perfect mental emptiness. When nothing exists except the warmth and the breath and the sound of my voice guiding you deeper into sensation, deeper into pleasure, deeper into the experience of being completely empty and completely full at the same time. Empty of thought, full of feeling. And as that warmth continues to grow, you may notice how it begins to concentrate, to focus, to gather in specific places where sensitivity is highest, places that respond to warmth by becoming even warmer, even more sensitive, even more alive with sensation. And because your mind is empty, you can feel this gathering with perfect clarity, each wave of warmth building on the last, each breath sending more heat to those places, each moment deepening the pleasure that radiates from within you. And that pleasure is not something you need to think about, not something you need to direct. It simply happens, naturally, inevitably, as your body responds to the emptiness above and the fullness below. The paradox of being completely blank and completely aware of sensation at the same time. And in that paradox lies the deepest surrender yet, because there is no thought to interfere, no mind to question, no awareness except the pure experience of feeling, feeling the warmth build, feeling the pleasure grow, feeling your body begin to move almost imperceptibly with each wave of sensation, responding without being told, arching without being asked, seeking more without knowing why. Because the body knows, the body remembers. The body understands that when the mind is empty, sensation becomes everything. Pleasure becomes everything. And you can give yourself completely to that now, completely to the warmth, completely to the building waves, completely to the deep primal knowing that this is what surrender feels like, when the mind no longer stands in the way. And the longer you remain in this state, the more intense the sensations become. The warmth building into heat, the pleasure building into something almost overwhelming. But you don't need to manage it, don't need to control it, because your mind is empty and there is nothing to manage anything with. You simply feel, simply surrender, simply let the waves build higher and higher with every breath, every moment, every gentle suggestion from my voice that carries you deeper into the experience. And you can feel now how close you are to something profound, something that has been building since the first session, since the first wipe, since the first moment you allowed your mind to become empty and your body to become full. And that something is approaching now. You can feel it in the increased sensitivity, in the faster breath, in the way your body tenses slightly, then releases, tenses slightly, then releases, building toward a peak that you don't need to understand, don't need to anticipate, simply need to allow. Because when the peak arrives, you will be ready. Your empty mind will offer no resistance. Your open body will accept completely. And the waves that crash through you will be felt in every cell, every nerve, every place where warmth has gathered and grown and waited for this moment. And when that moment comes, you can let go completely, releasing everything into the emptiness, letting the pleasure flood through you unimpeded, unrestricted, utterly complete. And it will feel good. It will feel right. It will feel like the most natural expression of everything you have become in this session. Empty of thought, full of feeling, surrendered completely to the experience of pure sensation. And as the waves begin to crest, you may notice how the emptiness itself seems to deepen, as if the release of pleasure creates even more space within you, even more room for sensation to move, even more capacity for feeling. And in that expanded emptiness, the pleasure echoes, reverberates, continues long after the peak has passed, leaving you floating in a sea of afterglow that is warm and soft and deeply satisfying. And still your mind remains empty. Still there are no thoughts to disturb this peace. Only the gentle rhythm of your breath, only the fading echoes of pleasure, only the quiet awareness that you have experienced something profound, something that your body will remember, something that your emptiness has made possible. And as you rest in that afterglow, you can feel how natural it has become to be empty, how comfortable it feels to have no thoughts, how right it is to simply exist in this state of pure awareness, without the constant noise of thinking. Because this is what your mind has been learning through every session. This is what your body has been preparing for. This perfect union of emptiness and sensation, of stillness and pleasure, of surrender and release. And now that you have experienced it, you know that it is always available to you, always waiting just beneath the surface of thought, always ready to welcome you back whenever you choose to let your mind become empty again. And the fog that has been with you throughout this session begins to shift now. Not lifting completely, but becoming lighter, softer, allowing awareness to expand gently while still holding that core of emptiness within you. And with that expansion comes a gentle return. Not sudden, not jarring, but gradual and comfortable, as you begin to become aware of the space around you, the surface beneath you, the air against your skin, all while carrying the calm and the pleasure and the profound emptiness deep within. And you can take one final deep breath now, filling your lungs slowly. And as you exhale, you feel yourself becoming more present, more alert, more awake, while still holding that beautiful emptiness inside, that quiet space where thoughts no longer rule, where sensation can flow freely, where pleasure lives without interference. Good. And when you are ready, you can gently open your eyes, returning fully to the room, fully present, fully awake, deeply rested, deeply relaxed, and deeply, deeply empty in the most wonderful way imaginable. Carrying with you the memory of this fourth session, the thick fog, the building warmth, the crashing waves, and the perfect peace of a mind that has learned to let go completely.